Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we are back on the second part of the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit childhood pastimes. So without wasting any time, we will be continuing where we left, where we left in the last lecture. So here uh, it is said Abhay Charan Day, which was the childhood name, or we can say the birth name of Shri Prabhupada, was born into an India dominated by Victorian imperialism. Calcutta was the capital of India, the seat of Viceroy, the Earl of Elgin and King Cardin, and the second city of the British Empire. So, from one sentence, we can understand that when Shri Prabhupada appeared in this material world to deliver this material world, so at that time it was dominated by Victorian imperialism, which means जो Victorian empire थे, the Britishers, it was dominated by them, and Calcutta was the capital of India. हमने जब हम छोटे थे तब पढ़ा होगा कि ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी was established in West Bengal and everything. So we can understand that Calcutta, or we can say West Bengal, because it was resource rich. That's why the Britishers were made their city their capital, second city of British Empire. It is said. Europeans and Indians lived separately, although in business and education they intermingled. So, even if the Europeans and Indians, although they are same in education and business, almost same, but still they lived separately. The British lived mostly in central Calcutta amidst their own theatres, racetracks, cricket fields, and fine European buildings. The Indian lived more in North Calcutta. Here, the men dressed in dhotis and the women in saris, and while remaining loyal to the British crown, followed their traditional religion and culture. So we can see from here that the Britishers lived in some central part of the Calcutta, and the Indians at that time lived in the northern part where they were following their tradition and religion. Abhay's home at 151 Harrison Road was in the Indian section of North Calcutta. So yes, obviously, but the street we can see that it has some tinge of touch of British name. Abhay's father, Gaur Mohan De, was a cloth merchant of moderate income and belonged to the aristocratic Suvarna Manik merchant community. So yes, we must we हमने सोचा होगा, हमने जितना भी प्रभुपाद के बारे में सुना होगा अभी तक. So we knew that his father was वो क्या कहते हैं क्लॉथ सेलर और क्लॉथ मर्चेंट विथ मॉडरेट इनकम, और बट हिज कास्ट it was aristocratic caste of Suvarna Manik. He was related, however, to the wealthy Mullik family, which for hundred of years had traded gold and salt with the British. So yes, originally the Muliks had been members of the De family, a Gotra lineage that traces back to the ancient sage Gautama. So, in this one sentence, we can understand that the Mulliks, which is mentioned here, their traces are found back in at traces back to the ancient sage Gautama Muni. But during the Mughal period of pre-British India, a Muslim ruler had conferred the title Mulik, Lord, on a wealthy, influential branch of the Des. Then, several generations later, a daughter of the Des had married into the Mulik family, and the two families had remained close ever since. So, like this, we have got some past ancestral knowledge of Shri Prabhupada, that how which lineage Shri Prabhupada appeared in. An entire block of properties on either side of Harrison Road belonged to Loknath Mullik. So from that tree, family tree which we saw in this last paragraph. So that an entire block of property on the either side, जो Prabhupada, he was born in 151 Harrison Road. So that either side of the Harrison Road belong to that entire block of property belonged to Loknath Mulik, and Gaur Mohan and his family lived in a few rooms of a three-story building within the Mullik properties. So three-story building में रह रहे थे. Across the street of the day's residence was a Radha Govinda temple, where for the past 150 years the Mulliks had maintained worship of the deity of Radha and Krishna. So here the line has appeared, which is very auspicious. That on the contrary, they were maintaining the worship of Radha and Krishna since 150 years. The Mulliks, yes. So various shops on the Mulik properties provided income for the deity and for the priests conducting the worship. So, our Shabrupad's father, Gaur Mohandev, was also maintaining a cloth shop. So, like this, there are various shops on the line. So, those shops were providing the income. जो मुलिक प्रॉपर्टीज है, दे वर प्रोवाइडिंग द इनकम फॉर द डीटी एंड फॉर द प्रीस्ट कंडक्टिंग द वर्शिप. जो भी पूजा अर्चना कर रहे थे वो प्रीस्ट भक्त लोग, और जो डीटी उनकी वर्शिप के लिए दे वर प्रोवाइडिंग द इनकम. एवरी मॉर्निंग बिफोर ब्रेकफास्ट द मुलिक फैमिली members would visit the temple to see the deity of Radha Govinda. They would offer cooked rice, kachauris, and vegetables on a large platter, and would then distribute the prasadam to the deities. Morning visitors from the neighborhood. So वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट बिफोर ब्रेकफास्ट ओनली. हाँ, ऐसा नहीं कि हमारा पेट पूजा कर लिया फिर कभी राधा गोविंद का दर्शन करने गए, कुछ देने गए. नो, द फर्स्ट थिंग दे वुड डू बिफोर ब्रेकफास्ट इज टू ऑफर, not to take, but to offer cooked rice, kachoris, vegetables, and everything, so many paraphernalia to Lord, and then the prasadam would be distributed to the neighborhood. Then they would take the prasad as their morning meal. Among the daily visitors was Abhay Charan, accompanying his mother, father, or servant. So we can see that our Abhay Charan, or we can say Srila Prabhupada, Messiah of Millennium, His Grace Amugla Prabhu has launched a very beautiful song on this. So Srila Prabhupada, accompanying either his mother, father, or servant, उनका नाम गौरांग, हाँ, yes, I remember. So either of three, Srila Prabhupada would accompany to the temple. Srila Prabhupada, he said, it is the actual words of Srila Prabhupada. I used to ride on the same perambulator with Siddheshwar Mulik. He used to call me Moti, Pearl, and his nickname was Subidhi. And the servant pushed us together. If one day his friend did not see me, he would become mad. He would not go in the perambulator without me. We would not separate even for a moment. So here Sharpad is sharing a very beautiful pastime. That he a perambulator, we can search. It is a type of a car, I guess, in the ancient times. सॉरी, एक मिनट. सो यस, अभी मॉडर्न ज़माने में ये वाला यूज़ करते, तब का कुछ अलग होगा. इन दैट Srila Prabhupada and with Siddheshwar Mulik, he used to call me Moti. So that Siddheshwar Mulik, whom Srila Prabhupada used to accompany with, he used to call Srila Prabhupada as Moti, which means pearl, and his nickname was Subidhi. Siddheshwar Mulik's nickname was Subidhi, and the servant, Gauranga, the servant of Srila Prabhupada's family, he pushed both Srila Prabhupada and Siddheshwar Mulik together. If one day this friend did not see me, कभी ऐसा दिन होता जिसमें श्रील प्रभुपाद को ना देखते जो सिद्धेश्वर मुलिक, तो वो पागल हो जाते, एंड ही वुड नॉट गो इन द पेरम्बुलेटर विदाउट मी. we would not separate for even a moment. So yes, Rupad is sharing a very beautiful pastime. We can continue ahead. As the servant pushed the baby carriage into the wide expanse of Harrison Road, Harrison, बोल सकते हैं हम Harrison Road. Sharpad also was born in Harrison. timing his timing his crossing between the bicycles and horse-drawn hackneys. The two children in the pram gazed up at the fair sky and tall trees across the road. So we can imagine while reading this that as the servant pushed the baby carriage, so Sharpad he still remembers that what would he do when he was in the baby carriage on that perambulator or pram, the wide expanse of Harrison Road. So Sharpad was being pushed in the pram on Harrison Road, timing his crossing between the bicycles and horse drawn hackneys. So तब तो bicycles थे वो अजीबो गरीब, एंड तब लोग हॉर्स ड्रॉन जो घुड़सवार, घुड़सवार भी नहीं बोल सकते, हैकनीस विच मीन्स कैरिएज विच आर ड्रॉन बाय हॉर्सेस विथ देयर लार्ज व्हील्स, मतलब बड़े बड़े चक्के स्पिनिंग ओवर द रोड, caught the fascinated attention of the two children. So the Siddheshwar Mullik and Shavrupad, whose name is Abhay Charan at that time. So uh, all of this took catch attention of Shavrupad. The servant steered the carriage towards the arched gateway within the red sandstone wall bordering the Radha Govinda Mandir. So, like this, when he was pushing the carriage, like in the on the Harrison Road, so the Radha Govinda temple had a red wall. भार का रेड वॉल था, एज इट इज मेंशन हियर, सैंडस्टोन वॉल बॉर्डरिंग द राधा गोविंद मंदिर. सो द so the servant Gauranga, he steered in the pram inside the Radha Govinda Mandir, and as Abhay and his friend rode underneath the ornate metal arch and into the courtyard, they saw high above them two stone lions, the heralds and protectors of the temple compound, their right paws extended. So हमने बहुत सारे टेम्पल में देखा होगा that there are many temples whose gates have that lion structure as in the form of that they are the protector of this temple. So like that similar structure was there on in the Radha Govinda temple. In the courtyard was a circular drive, and on the oval lawn were lamp posts with gas lights and a statue of a young woman in robes. So कोर्टयार्ड, जो कोर्टयार्ड था वहाँ पे, कोर्टयार्ड मीन्स वी कैन सर्च इन सो यू कैन सी. So courtyard means the place before the structure, main structure. So like there is a temple or there is a big house. So उसके बाहर की जो जगह, so we walk or we walk on that and enter the main pilgrimage or main place. So उसकी बाहर की जगह को courtyard बोलते हैं. So courtyard, in the courtyard was a circular drive, and on the lower oval lawn were lamp posts. So lamp posts were there, like we can see the street lights, like that. Some similar structure, lamp posts with gas lights. अभी तो electricity होती है. That time there were gas lights which were running on fuel, and a statue of a young woman in robes. So साधु वेश में एक माता जी का स्टैचू था तो वहाँ पे. Sharply chirping sparrows flitted in the shrubs and trees or hopped across the grass, pausing to peck the ground. So we can imagine all of this, that the sparrows are there on the trees, and some are coming on the ground, pecking the ground, which means to eat something, while choruses of pigeon cooed. वी है, जो भी हम जब सुबह जल्दी जल्दी उठते होंगे तो उनको पता होगा देर आर मैनी बर्ड्स एंड इंक्लूडिंग पिजन्स ऑल्सो, दे मेक नॉइस. sometimes abruptly flapping their wings overhead, sailing off to another perch, or descending to the courtyard. So sometimes the birds would go from one tree to another tree, or one tree to the ground for eating something. उनको उनकी आंखें तिरछी होती है, उनको दिख जाता है सब कुछ. Voices chattered as Bengalis moved to and fro, dressed in simple cotton saris and white dhotis, sometimes paused by the carriage to amuse the golden skinned boys with their shining dark eyes. But most people were passing by, quickly going into the temple. So समवन कोई एक व्यक्ति पॉज मतलब वो एक वहाँ पे रुक गया. अम्यूज गोल्डन स्किन बॉयज, सो दे आर सो राइट नाउ दे आर directly directing towards Srila Prabhupada and that Siddheshwar Mulik. So and their shining dark eyes. So in Indian tradition we can see that the mother puts kajal here in beneath the eyes so that उनको नजर ना लगे. नजर वाला कंसेप्ट है अभी तक. So with their shining dark eyes, but mostly people जो भी most people थे, they were passing by quickly, going into the temple. The heavy double doors leading into the inner courtyard were open, and the servant eased the carriage wheels down a foot deep step and proceeded through the foyer. So there are some words which I am not able to understand, but we can take the bhavar that the court there are big double doors. मतलब वो होता है ना पहले के ज़माने में ऐसा डबल डोर in into the inner courtyard were open, and the servant eased the carriage wheels. So as the that the door opened, so the servant pushed the carriage and through the foyer, then down another step and into the bright sunlight of the main courtyard. So एक तो बाहर टेम्पल का बाहर का कोर्टयार्ड होता है और टेम्पल में अंदर का कोर्टयार्ड. There they faced a stone statue of Garuda perched on a 4-foot column. So there in many Vishnu mandirs and Krishna mandirs also we can see Garuda as a in that position of servant because he is a servant, very dear servant of Krishna or Vishnu. So many temples we can see the statue of Garuda, the carrier of Vishnu, because he is a carrier of Vishnu, Garuda, half man and half bird, kneeled on one knees, his hands folded prayerfully, his eagle's beak strong, and his wings poised behind him. The carriage moved ahead past two servants, sweeping and washing the stone courtyard. It was just a few paces across the courtyard to the temple. So यहाँ पे हम बोल सकते क्लिफ हैंगर पे रखते हैं. एंड द नेक्स्ट टाइम द टेम्पल के अंदर जब श्री प्रभुपाद एंड सिद्धेश्वर मुदिक वुड एंटर्ड, then what description would be there. So for that you have to stay tuned or you can read also. It is not that there are many great Vaishnavas who have posted lectures on Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. I am just a servant trying to glorify Srila Prabhupada as much as I can. This fallen soul fallen soul can. So for today we can put this until here. We can discuss the next part in tomorrow. So part 3 will be covered tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.